So it's a sprint weekend then, and it's a slight change from last year as well. We have points for the top three. In 2022, 3 sprint races, and we have points all the way down to 8th place. 8 points for the winner, 1 point for the driver that comes home in 8th. And we're here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix weekend, the Imola track, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. From pole to the first braking zone at the Tamburello chicane is a 575-metre dash. Massively important to try and get your overtaking done as early as possible on a track that is tricky to get past. But it is possible, and who can make the tyres last for the full 21 laps? Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo did a full sprint distance on the soft tyre in FP2 earlier today. The medium could be favoured by some teams. Don't expect to see the hard until the Grand Prix tomorrow. It is all set fair for this sprint then. And here is the starting grid. Alex Albon, for the second race in a row, starts right at the back. Alongside him is Esteban Ocon for Alpine. Nicholas Latifi outqualifies his teammate by default this weekend, but for the first time this season. Pierre Gasly 17th, Yuki Tsunoda 16th. It was a nightmare qualifying for the home team of AlphaTauri. Lance Stroll got caught out by red flags. He's 15th, Zhou Guanyu 14th, and Lewis Hamilton starts down in a lowly 13th place. His teammate George Russell's 11th, Mick Schumacher in between the two Mercedes, who missed out on Q3 for the first time since 2012. Carlos Sainz crashed in Q2 but made it through into Q3, starts 10th. Sebastian Vettel starts 9th. Valtteri Bottas caused one of 5 red flags. He starts 8th. Sergio Perez ahead of him in 7th place. Daniel Ricciardo, who's had no track running so far today, starts 6th. Fernando Alonso is 5th on the grid for Alpine. Kevin Magnussen equals his best qualifying and gives Haas their best ever qualifying performance in 4th. Lando Norris is 3rd, and it's Charles Leclerc on the front row alongside Max Verstappen. See the Alpine of Esteban Ocon pointing to the right-hand side, as I'm sure is Max Verstappen out of the front. It's lights out and away we go for the sprint, and Charles Leclerc gets a very good start indeed. Verstappen's been caught napping maybe. Perez making ground early on. Leclerc takes the lead of the sprint. Already a yellow flag as someone's gone off the track, and I think it's Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo, and there is Zhou Guanyu. Looks like his sprint is over by the end of the first lap. On the way to Interpiratella we go. And there's Zhou Guanyu on the outside, Gasly on the inside. And I did think this track was narrow, and that rather proved it.
Yeah, two came together. I'm not really sure where Zhou thought Gasly could go.
And with the safety car in and the green flags flying, we get racing once again. This is lap 5 of 21 for the sprint here in Imola this afternoon. And Max Verstappen a long way back by the time they put on the brakes into Tamburello. Magnussen looks a little bit closer to Lando Norris, who's in 3rd. Then comes Sergio Perez.
Sainz got to love the run in the Alpine. The Ferrari's looking beautiful behind it. And had he had DRS, I think he'd be going forward. But of course he would, because he's in that Ferrari. And is he only going to go the long way around? Alonso's not going to make it easy, but a fellow Spaniard, and I don't think he'll put up too much of a fight.
There goes the DRS, one DRS zone here at Imola, and you can see the closing speed that Sergio Perez has got. It's a mighty closing speed for Sergio Perez. Long before they get to the chicane, Sergio Perez is ahead of Kevin Magnussen and up into 4th. To the DRS zone we go. We're following Kevin Magnussen, following him Ricciardo, following him is Sainz, and ahead of those, Sergio Perez looks like he's got ahead of Lando Norris, and he has. Towards the chicane we go. Is Ricciardo going to go down the inside on Kevin Magnussen? He is!
Huge differences for Red Bull. If both Red Bulls can finish 2nd and 3rd, of course what that does is bit of protection tomorrow at the start of
clouds still hovering over the track, with the Tifosi roaring on and giving heat to Carlos Sainz as he sets now after Kevin Magnussen, who hasn't got DRS. Ricciardo's too far away. There goes Sainz bouncing away, but he can put up with a porpoising as 6th place is his by the time they get to the Tamburello chicane.
Got DRS, you can see, there you go.
Board, and he's getting closer, Ricciardo moves over to the right-hand side, but really, that was not a fight. Daniel Ricciardo was equipped to fully fight. Valtteri Bottas now on Fernando Alonso, who's been given a black and white flag for weaving on the straight. He can't weave now, because if he did, he'd weave straight into Valtteri Bottas. And they're going wheel to wheel down the straight here. Valtteri Bottas on the inside, later on the brakes. Fernando...
Proper close now, Crofty. Is he going to get a nice run out of Ravazza?
He's there or thereabouts. He wants to be left alone to do what he can do best, and what he can do very well is produce some overtakes from a long way back. Look at the bouncing on the Ferrari. The Red Bull's coming at him. Verstappen goes round the outside into the chicane, stays on the track. Max Verstappen takes the lead at the sprint here at Imola, and we've had passes for the lead in a sprint for the first time, the first sprint of 2022, and I hope they're all like this. This is epic. Brilliant car control.
And he didn't turn in, did he? He left enough space just to let him go, but beautifully judged at the second part of that as well.
Max Verstappen lost out at the start here, has made amends by the time he gets to the checkered flag. What a tussle with Charles Leclerc. The sprinters flash by, and it's ended with victory for Max Verstappen here at Imola. The championship leader, Charles Leclerc, comes home in second. Rather get the feeling the drivers like these sprints and like to be involved in such a short burst of fevered activity.
Took a bit of time to actually really get a good run, but then once we had the good run, yeah, we had a good move into turn 2. We gave each other enough space, but it's been like that already, of course, the whole season so far, so I didn't expect anything else.
I did a great start, and then we were in P1, and it was all about trying to get Max away of the DRS, because otherwise I knew I was very vulnerable. So I pushed quite a bit on the tires, and obviously paid the price in the end of the race with the front right graining, which was quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm pleased with the result and with the pace. It's all we needed from today, really, to minimize the damage from yesterday. So starting P3 for tomorrow's race, I'm looking forward massively.
Really happy with the comeback. I think we did everything we could at the start and made a lap by lap overtake, and it was solid race. Unfortunately, I made my life very difficult yesterday, but the important thing is that we're in the fight and we are ready to battle tomorrow.
It's the best we could do, with our package and with our car. I think we still have to be very happy with these positions. So yeah, some nice points, and hopefully tomorrow we can just find a little bit more lap time just to make my life a bit easier.